What is up, Last Rifters? Today we're going to be doing a little tutorial on how we made our team sorting system for our Pumpkin King Infected game. If you've ever played our Pumpkin King Infected game, you know that one player is selected randomly to be the Pumpkin King. All of the other players are put on the Survivor team, and the Pumpkin King must turn them to Infected as the game goes on. It's important to select a player randomly and to make sure it's just one single player on the Pumpkin King team and everyone else is on the Survivor team. So let's just go ahead and take a look at how we do that. The first thing we do, I have this function called assign teams randomly that I wrote. I'll explain that in just a bit. But on our on begin function, we do a couple things. First of all, we call our assign teams randomly function, but then we also subscribe to a player added event. We get our play space and subscribe to a player added event. Set out new player, which is a function I wrote. If a player joins late, we call this set up new player function, which the set up new player, we just automatically assign them to a survivor team. So if you join late, you're just automatically survivor, and then you have to survive. But if you're there when the game starts, then we call this assign teams randomly function, which does make one random player the Pumpkin King, and it makes everyone else a survivor. So let's just see how that works. In our assign teams randomly function, the first thing we do is we create this variable, an index of the players. We get the play, it's called all players, and we get the play space. These are built-in Fortnite functions, get play space, get players. We get the play space, get the players of the function, and essentially we're making a list of all those players. Then we check to make sure that there are players in the game. So if the length of that list of players is greater than 0, then we will call our function here and we will assign the teams, you know? We create a new variable called random index, which is going to create a random number. This get random int is a built-in verse function. The two things we're feeding in are the low of the randomization and the high. So low is going to be 0 and the high is going to be the length of players minus 1. So it's going to go through all the players and it's going to get a random integer of somewhere in between the amount of players that's there. So if there's 6 players, it could be 1. The lowest it could be would be 0. So it could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason we do minus 1 is because in indexes and coding, they start with 0. So the first player is going to be 0. Even though there's 5 players in there, the 5th player's number would be 4 because the first player's number is 0. So after we do that, we do a for loop. So we're scrolling through all of our players and we're comparing them to the index. So our index is just it's an int, right? So we are scrolling through all of our players and we're assigning each player a number, right? If the index, which is our number that we assign to the players, equals our random number that we did in this random index, we got a random number. Then we're going to assign that player to team 0, which is our Pumpkin King team. Again, in coding, indexes start with numeral 0. So we're going to assign them to team 0, which is the first team, Pumpkin King, but it is our team 0 in code speak, in language. So all we do is if our random number that we got, we randomize the numbers of all the players. If your random number matches if you as a player, your assigned number matches the random number that we just generated, then we assign you to the Pumpkin King team. We teleport you to within the Pumpkin King box. So you are contained while everyone can go hide. We set the visual tracker. So we show you the visual tracker. We set how many people are left. And then we set our team 2 count for +1. Our team counts are very important because in our game, if there's no more survivors, we need to end the game because then Pumpkin King has 1. So if we've eliminated all survivors, we need to set the team count to 0 and then in the game. So we set the team 2 count, which is the Pumpkin King team. We set that to +1. So there's 1 person on the team 2 count. Then we attach to head. This is another function I wrote. that just spawns the pumpkin head above the Pumpkin King, visual indicator of who the Pumpkin King is, who you should hide from. And we attach an aura. A play aura at is another function we've written, which just attaches a VFX to the player based on team. Last thing we do is we just show our heads-up display message for the Pumpkin King, which says, "You are the Pumpkin King. Eliminate the survivors to win." So if your number as a player does not match the random number we selected, then we just assign you to our survivor team. So we're going to use our built-in Fortnite function, which is assign team by index. We're going to assign the player to team 1, which is our survivor team. Again, in our visual editor, in our UEFN editor, that's going to be team 2, but in the code is going to be team 1 because the index starts with 0. Our Pumpkin King team is team 0, even though technically it's team 1. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but indexes in coding always start with 0. So then we're going to set our team 1 count, which is our survivor team. We're going to set that to +1. So again, if all the survivors are eliminated, we know to end the game. We're going to use our second teleporter, which is our teleport outside of the box, then teleport all our survivors outside the box so they can go ahead and run. We're also going to play our aura, our survivor aura, which again is just a VFX that shows which team you're on. We're going to play the second one. If you look at our editables here, we do have 3 visual props, which are just visual effect power-up devices. There's 3 different ones. If you're on the survivor team, the pumpkin team, or the infected team, you get a different one to show which team you're on. So yes, we're just going to give them the second one because they're on the survivor team. We're going to show them the heads-up display that says, you are a survivor, run and hide, survive till the end to win. And then we're just going to set the visual tracker, which says how many survivors left. We're going to set it to the count of team 1. So we're going to count those people. Every single player that's added to the the survivor team, we're going to add that, and then we're going to set that as the target for our visual tracker. Again, this is a for loop, so it's scrolling through every single player of all players and assigning them all a number. So every single player who is not the same number as the random integer we selected, is going to be assigned to the survivor team. Other than that, that's really just how we do it. Again, if you join late, we are going to go ahead and add you just to the survivor team. You can see here our play aura at function. We just feed in an agent, and then yes, if depending on, we despawn all the auras to do basically a reset, so it doesn't get convoluted with which team you're on, and then we just spawn the aura based on which team you're on, and that just is a little visual indicator. Yeah, it's not too complicated here. If we go to our visual editor, you can see in our visual editor here for this infected device, we do have the 3 different heads-up display message devices, which each say a different message. If you're on the survivor team, it does say you're a survivor, run and hide. If you're on the Pumpkin King team, it says you're a Pumpkin King and eliminate the survivors. And if you're on the turn team, it says you've become infected, eliminate survivors. Other than that, we have our 2 teleporters, our Pumpkin King teleporter that teleports you within the box, and our survivor teleporter would teleport you out the box. We have our pumpkin head, which is just a creative prop that floats above the Pumpkin King, and then we have our 3 different VFX power-up devices. So yes, again, this code is not too complicated, but it can be useful if you're trying to do any entire game where it's one player against everyone. Maybe you have a super powered player, and you want there to just be one random person assigned to that super player each game. This is how you're going to do that. I hope this is useful. I hope you can use it in your own projects. If there's a tutorial you'd like to request, please comment and let us know. We'd be happy to make it. Have a good day.